welcome one and all. Welcome to another Wicker Biscuit.
Welcome.
All right, how is everybody doing?
Fine and dandy.
Oh, awesome. Well, let's start with some introductions like we typically do. Now, this is going to be a small group, but
nonetheless exciting and powerful and special.
Oh, it's going to be great. Mm-hmm. So first up, we got
Ryan.
And then we have a new guest. We have
Lisa.
Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
We're excited to have her. She's always in the room with us. But
Yeah,
today
she's an actual guest. And then on Zoom, we got
Courtney.
Damn right, we got Courtney. And as always, I'm your host, Gary. So welcome, everyone. I'm going to let you know this is our Easter episode.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're going to be going over some Easter fun. But first, I need to know how everyone's doing. So how are you guys doing?
Great.
I mean, I already did ask, but let's go into a little more depth. So anybody got any stories to tell? Anything fun?
Let me think. I had some in mind, and then now they're
Oh,
gone.
no worries.
You know how that
tell you
goes.
What, let me start then.
Okay.
I want to give a tip of the hat to Wisconsin's favorite gas station, Quick Trip. Now, as you remember, I did a whole rant where I pretty much shit on them pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Just a little,
yeah. Now, I've gone back to them because I got to give credit where credit is due. I've gone back just to get gas and other things, and they still had good food. But I've noticed a huge turnaround. I don't think it had anything to do with my rant.
It did.
It had everything
Totally.
to do with it.
But
Don't
all of a
cut
sudden,
yourself
like,
short.
there's always Diet Coke stocked. And my point was more just like, don't let it just run out and think, oh, well, people would be happy with Diet Pepsi. It's like, no, Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi to me are two different things.
This is how I envision it. This is how it happened. There were people who were upset about it, but didn't think anyone else cared. And then they heard your rant, and they went in and complained, and they're like, and that Gary Putnam, he also is upset about this, and you should listen to him, because those Wicker Biscuit kids,
Yeah.
they're all right.
Skippy.
They've been on top of it. I mean, every time I've gone in there lately, it's been fully stocked. Matter of fact, there was even one. There was one that I went to where the fountain was like constantly broken. It wasn't just the syrup; it was the fountain itself, and they fucking replaced the machine.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's where I said to myself, "Now, Gary, you got to give them credit. You got to do a call out and say thank you, Quick Trip." So, yeah, thanks guys for keeping those high Wisconsin standards, and yeah, I'm back on the Quick Trip bandwagon.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, anybody else got anything they want to share?
Well, I have to say that we cannot continue this podcast without talking about what we did Friday night.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Can you go into depth on that,
Yeah.
Courtney?
Well, when one finds out that there is a sale on strawberries, apparently one goes out and just immediately buys 300 pounds.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
Uh-huh.
overkill. No.
Yeah, and we kind of came up with this idea that, we're going to make jelly and sell it on behalf of Wicker Biscuit. Does any of us know how to make large batch of jelly? Absolutely not.
No. Now, I know. Now, for our listeners, we actually do know how to make jelly. We're a little bit of jelly connoisseurs.
They say we, not every member.
No.
But
No. But I will say Courtney, myself, and her son have really stepped up our game in the world of jellies. And it really comes from Courtney's dad. But we know how to make them. We just don't know how to do the large batches.
Right.
But we're going to learn. And we want to bring our jellies to the masses. So starting soon, we're going to be doing some booths and some outreach, some getting out there, getting to hear from the fans, getting spot times.
I love
Whatever.
you so much, Gary, but you've really put the cart before the horse. We haven't even made the fucking jelly yet, but we're going to be out there. We're going to be selling it. It's going to be great. We have no jelly to give
Let me
at this point.
let me just pause for you, Courtney, and say,
Okay.
now the type of person that goes out and says, "Oh, a sale, let's get 300 pounds." Don't you think they're the type of people that do put the cart before the horse?
It's bad. We started out with, we bought 10 cases.
10
And then we
pallets.
used 6 of those.
10 pallets.
10
which
pallets,
had
yes.
8
And then
cases a pallet.
I said,
Yep.
"Hey, Gary, I hear they're still on sale. Do you think we need more?" He's like, We don't, but my heart says we do.
Yep.
So we decided at that point it was no longer in our hands. If my husband answered the phone and was able to go get more, it was just meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it was meant
And
to
he
be.
took our dreams.
It was a Jesus
Yeah.
take the credit card moment.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of
Yes.
Jesus take the wheel. It's like, Jesus, you decide for me. And he grabbed the card and swiped it.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Uh-huh.
But, look forward to that. Now, we don't have an official name yet, so this might even get cut. But right now...
Hey, no, don't cut it. I just think maybe we need to have our listeners maybe pitch an idea.
Well, the one that
Or-
I really liked, as an homage to our segment of Courtney and Gary's Poppin' Cherries, Courtney came up with the jelly name of Poppin' Berries.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like
And
that.
I loved that
Mhm.
one.
I love it.
So it could
Yeah.
be Courtney and Gary's Poppin' Berries or Wicker Biscuit's Poppin' Berries. I don't know.
Something, but we're going to be popping it.
But yeah, we'll have the full list, but you're gonna cream your pants when you hear this, because there's gonna be stuff you never even knew that people made jelly out of. Because
Oh, yeah. We've got
Oh.
many secrets.
yeah. Should we tease a little bit, Courtney, or no?
Oh, you tease them.
Okay. Well, there's one corn cob jelly. Who the fuck makes
Ooh.
jelly out of corn cob? It's crazy delicious. You wouldn't
We
expect
do.
it. We do.
It is. It's good.
Pine jelly. Huh?
Mm.
I feel like it's only you and I that is really excited about this, judging by the
No.
look of Lisa. Just like,
Well-
yep, that's nice.
No,
And
like
Ryan on his phone.
no.
Mine is podcast related though, so it's not like I'm just doing whatever.
I do
you
not
were looking at
like.
porn.
I do not like rhubarb or strawberry rhubarb things.
Okay.
But you guys
Oh.
gave me a sample of your strawberry rhubarb jelly.
Yep.
And I
Yeah.
thought it was delicious. I would
That's
eat
saying
it.
something.
So, yes, talk about putting the
Very
cart before the
nice.
horse. I'm just warning you, listeners. You will adore this jelly.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna be doing jellies and
Nice.
jams. Just clap your hands. Just clap your hands.
There you go. Get ready. Get ready.
It's where it's at.
2
Mhm.
turntables and a microphone?
Well,
Yes.
2 big pots and a stirring
Stirring
stick.
stick.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, exactly. All right. So
We stemmed them. That's what we
Oh,
did
yeah.
Friday. We cleaned them.
we did. Whew.
I love it.
I still have like
The blood of
I don't know.
berries on our fingers.
yes, yes.
It's not Barry Lincoln, I hope.
No.
No.
Oh, good.
No.
No. Any other fun quips?
Today when I was cleaning, I was like, there was a window pane, and I did not clean that pane because there was a bat in the corner, and I'm like, I don't want to wake him up.
No.
This time of year.
Yeah, and my first thought was, I hope he's not so cold that he's dead.
No.
That would make me feel bad. I think he was just sleeping
Yeah.
though.
Because it gets cold in some of those caves.
Well, because my very first thought was like, it's like a bug's nest of some kind because we have to deal with those a lot. And then I was like, oh no, that's fur.
That's a bat.
That's a bat.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Unpopular opinion. I think bats are cute.
Bats are very cute.
I think so
They
too.
are.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
they're
it is popular opinion.
They're
then.
like sky puppies.
Now, who texted you right after a fun little quip about elementary school music?
that would be you, Gary.
Oh yeah,
There was a song we had to sing in third or fourth grade.
4th grade. Yeah.
Because we were together. Called Leatherwing Bat. Gary and I never learned the words. We just made up our own song about Batman shooting people.
Actually, yeah.
That
It was Howdy Dowdy Batman or Howdy Doody Batman.
Because the real song was like Howdy Dowdy Diddle O Day. We
Yeah.
would say Howdy Dowdy Batman.
But it was good.
It was really good.
Huh.
We'll have to sing it. Maybe one day we'll find the real song and
Maybe.
then we'll play it and
Yeah.
then sing our version.
I like it. All right.
But it was something that only 4th graders could come up with. Like
Correct.
it's like
Oh, yeah.
weird and gross and stupid.
Kind of inappropriate. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a pre-Columbine world though. So
Right.
True.
Fair enough.
the
Good.
joking about that was like, well, that would never happen.
And the funny
Mhm.
thing too is like Batman never used guns.
right.
Like he never shot anyone.
Especially not Catwoman.
Especially
who
not
just said
Catwoman.
hi.
Wow.
Oh, someday it'll happen, or maybe it'll be just for the Patreon. Who knows?
Oh, maybe.
Mhm.
All right. Any other quips or nips? Quips or nips?
I'm eating nibs.
Is that what we should call it? That quips and nips.
Yeah, because
Right?
if things are bugging you, it gets right on my tit. Like that's like
Yeah.
a total British thing.
No, I love that Courtney brought up the jelly and the strawberries. I'm loving all of this right now. This is a good
Oh,
good vibe.
I have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So, on Sunday, without Carl's mother's knowledge, we decided we would drive out to IKEA and buy her some kitchen chairs.
Ooh, I love
Oh.
IKEA.
Because she had this table that her microwave was on, and then we were going to throw it, but then the table's actually in really good shape, so they were like, well, we'll keep that, so then she'll have a kitchen table for a while, and if she wants to get a new one, she can, and we'll get rid of it then. But we did get rid of the chairs that went with it, but they were kind of falling apart, so it was totally acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Carl's like, we should go to IKEA after we drop Mom off, after brunch, and then we'll just bring them over. Okay. Then we had my mom go with, and we picked out these chairs, and what else do I bought some aprons.
But you already ate before you went there? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So you didn't get any meatballs?
Carl said, Gary's going to be sad we didn't get meatballs. And now here he is, sad we didn't get meatballs.
You did look
I thought-
legitimately sad.
I thought that was a freaking joke coming from the mouth of Gary Putnam when he was talking about IKEA meatballs.
Oh my!
I'm
No,
like,
they're good. They're really
they
good.
make
Well, I made them
furniture.
for Courtney one year up in Bayfield. Yeah,
Yum.
she's had IKEA meatballs.
But
And that's saying something for Courtney. I mean,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
you know, it was a little, part of me was like, I'd really rather just stay home on Sunday, but whatever. But it was fun. Then the next day, I'm cleaning windows at a place downtown. And next to the place I'm cleaning, there's a dude who's unloading stuff off the back of a truck. And it's like this guy and this woman who must own this business. And they're like putting stuff in there. And they were like, it was like a table and some chairs. And then he had some more chairs. And the lady's like, oh no, we don't need those white ones. You can keep them. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was kind of paying attention, but not. And then he like jokingly says to me, do you want a couple of chairs? And I look, and like, they're totally chairs that would totally have gone with the table. It's like, if only you would have asked me yesterday, I would have taken those. And because he said to them that they were from IKEA, and I looked at them. Because when he first said that, I looked, I'm like, okay, they're not the same ones we got. But they were totally ones that would have worked. So that is too funny. There was 3 chairs, just like we bought, white,
Oh dear.
that would go with the table. And it's
Oh,
like,
man.
oh, that's funny.
that's fun.
I also bought aprons, because I am pseudo-obsessed with having aprons.
Yeah,
'Cause
IKEA has good aprons.
I don't like cook a lot. Like I cook, but like Thanksgiving and stuff, I
Mhm.
like to put on my apron and get all
Mhm.
that shit going. You know.
well, then,
He looks extra saucy this last Thanksgiving, I will say.
yeah.
Well, I did have my turkey hat.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that really added something.
Yes.
I would like to hope, though, that after you wear your saucy apron, that Carl puts on his eating dress.
Oh yeah, always.
Nice.
Eating dress?
Yeah, typically Thanksgiving, it's jammies all day. Like that's kind of the goal.
There was one year, Courtney, where we did a fun Halloween thing, and Carl wore a dress, and we were eating. He's like, "This is my eating dress."
Well, we didn't make that up. Martha Stewart, Margaret Cho is the one who's like, "I'm gonna put on my eating dress."
Oh, okay. I didn't I didn't know that reference. I thought Carl made it up.
No.
But either way, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And I'm
The
still going to
eating
always
dress.
associate it with Carl.
Good.
Yeah. All right, guys. Shall we jump into our main biscuit? All right. We got Ryan pretending to dive in. So first up, we're talking about Easter. And I had a thought. Like...
I did a thing and then I winked at Courtney because I knew she saw me do it.
I was going to say, what did I miss?
You said Ryan pretended to
He
dive in. I
parted the
went,
flaps and went right in.
As one does.
Oh.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about Easter. One thing that came up to me that I wanted to talk about was how the fuck did they come up with an Easter bunny? I mean, do you guys ever wonder that? You ever wonder where that came from? So I looked into it, and I'll tell you right now, there's no definite answer. So if anyone else heard something else, I mean, we don't really know. But let me fill you in on what I was able to figure out. So there's no exact origin of the mythical mammal, but sources say that the rabbit symbol stems from ancient pagan tradition, which the Easter traditions are based on. There was a festival of Eostre, E-O-S-T-R-E, which honored the god of fertility and spring, and the goddess's annual symbol was a rabbit, which having long traditionally stood for fertility due to their high reproduction rates. I've seen rabbits go at it, so I can attest to
Yeah.
that. It's insane.
Don't they like flap off backwards?
Maybe. We'll have to look some of that up. Listeners, feel free to throw out any feedback to us. Now, the Easter Bunny first arrived in America in... Well, this again is according to some sources. The Easter Bunny first arrived in America in the 1700s with German immigrants who settled in Pennsylvania and transported their tradition of an egg-laying hare called
Osterhaus.
Osterhaus? Okay, thank you guys. And
Oh.
Osterhaus? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, these children made little nests for the creature to lay its colored eggs, and eventually the custom spread across the U.S. and across the U.S. and the fabled rabbit's Easter morning deliveries extended to include chocolate and other types of candies and gifts, while the decorated baskets replaced the nests. And then, so that's just the U.S. Other countries also have different gift-bearing animals. There's an Easter cuckoo in Switzerland, and some parts of Germany have an Easter fox and an Easter rooster.
Oh, I would like an Easter cuckoo or an Easter rooster.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Courtney and I are Swiss, so we should embrace
The
the Easter cuckoo.
facts.
I think that Lisa just wants an Easter cock.
Yeah, that's true too.
A little bit of that too, yeah.
It is risen.
Ooh, that gives me a little anecdote. Our friend,
Yeah.
she once was taking sign language in college, and she had to go to sign language like Easter Mass,
Mm-hmm.
and she was saying how like the word for like they put Jesus in the cave was like the same thing as put in the oven. So she's
Aw.
like, it's like because it's the same
Sure.
thing.
Mhm.
So she's like,
Aw.
oh, they put Jesus in the oven,
For him to rise.
right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does actually. I mean, this is an odd interpretation, but it works.
It works. And I'm laughing in good humor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like
next,
the ice cream.
yes,
Yes.
good humor ice cream.
You're just sitting in some.
I am.
That reminds me of that one ice cream that we got to get, that Viennetta,
Oh yeah.
because Good Humor bought it. We got to find that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Do you remember that, Courtney?
No.
Oh,
They're
well,
like ice cream log looking cakes.
but it was like the epitome of fanciness.
Fancy.
When we were
Yes.
kids.
But when you really think about it, they're
Oh.
probably just like crappy.
Yeah, I know. But you saw the commercials and you were like,
Yeah.
ooh,
I was always
fancy.
taken by the noise it made when the thing cut. It was like
oh yeah,
click, because it was such a a Foley artist made that noise, but
Yeah.
it was so like click.
it was like the marketing people that did Grey Poupon essentially did that.
Mhm.
It had to,
Right.
well, I shouldn't say it had to have been, but it was very similar. So it was like, oh, Grey Poupon, the epitome of fanciness, and there's ice cream, yes. All right,
Speaking of epitome of fanciness, but not really,
ish.
I have an idea of something I want to do as a group with the podcast.
Let's hear it.
So I love chicken McNuggets,
Oh yeah,
and I love sweet and sour sauce, but I've never really used any of the other sauces, and I would like to buy a bunch of McNuggets and like a couple of every sauce and then
Mhm.
try them all and be like,
Yeah,
Oh, that was
I
gross.
love that idea. I will also share a nuggie stories. So I love to buy nuggies when I'm with Lisa, and then I pretend that I'm Lisa's little Andy Reid, and I steal all the nuggies.
I like it.
Who's Andy Reid?
He was the coach of the Chiefs, and he was in a commercial with Patrick Mahomes where he steals Patrick Mahomes nuggies, and he goes,
I want these nuggies.
yeah, he goes, I got these nuggies. So I always say that every time when I'm around Lisa, because she loves Patrick Mahomes.
Because they're
Oh.
trying to explain home and auto insurance.
Oh, that's right. It was a State Farm commercial.
Correct. And they're like, explain home and auto insurance. Like, okay, so
This
they're like,
burger and
take
these fries.
these, yeah,
Yeah, fries or
Take these
something.
fries. So this would be your home, and and this hamburger is your auto, and you combine them. And then he's like, okay, now tell it to me. And then he eats them.
Yeah, he steals them.
And then he's like, okay, well, tell me again. Explain it to
Using-
me again, but using these nuggies. And just Andy
Huh.
Reid, this older gentleman saying nuggies, tickles me.
And if you don't know him, Courtney, he's very Wilford Brimley-esque.
Yes.
I don't know who that is either.
The
The
oatmeal,
oatmeal guy. Diabetes.
Yeah, yeah, the diabetes
Oh,
commercials.
Of course. I'm sorry.
No, it's
That's
okay.
okay.
It's okay. I knew you knew him. We just had to remind you.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And sometimes you just don't know by name.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Diabetes.
Well, that's like when people would say the diabetes guy. I'm like, he's the oatmeal guy to me because he was
right.
in
He
those
was,
for years.
He was always
Mhm.
the oatmeal guy to me. Yeah.
Quaker Oats. It's good for you.
Yeah.
You need the mustache to make
No, I know.
the real
Yeah.
voice.
Courtney, did you ever see Cocoon? I know you were
Oh,
sheltered.
ages ago. Yeah.
Okay, because he was in Cocoon too.
I don't
And,
like the way you say cocoon.
And he was
Like,
in. He was in.
I do say it kind of weird,
He was-
don't I? Cocoon.
Have you ever seen
How
that
do
one
you
video
say
of
it?
this little girl that
Cocoon.
talks about
Cocoon.
this like butterfly coming out of a cocoon?
You
And
just said it just
she-
like me.
What? Oh shit! Cocoon. I do. Cocoon. How do we say? How are
Cocoon.
Cocoon.
Shit.
Cocoon.
Oh, well, am I saying it right then?
Yeah, you're saying it fine. I just,
Oh, well,
I think we all say it the same way.
gaslighting Courtney totally had me thinking I was
so
fucked
funny
up.
when Gary said it the first time.
Okay.
Cocoon.
Cocoon.
So this
okay, I
little
did
girl.
say it funny the first time, but
Cocoon.
Cocoon. Caw, caw, cocoon. Okay,
It's
I'm
the
sorry.
Easter rooster.
Oh, there he is.
It's the Easter
There it is.
rooster.
So the movie Cocoon.
Yes.
What now?
You were saying something about the little girl online saying the butterfly.
Oh, there's like
Yeah.
this little video of this girl who's talking about a butterfly coming out of its cocoon, and just then she like drops a spicy deuce, and she's like, "I got a cocoon," and it's you just have to see it. And the way Gary said it,
Do
was
I, though?
just like
Yes, you do.
God, I'm sitting in Carl's chair, and now I'm the one who laughs and then coughs. That's usually his job.
It's the chair.
Must be the
You
chair.
can sit in Amanda's chair.
I'm
I mean,
good, I'm
bring
good.
that chair is way more comfortable if you want to bring it over there.
I'm fine.
Okay. How about, guys, I fill you in on some eggs? How's that
Oh,
sound?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, fill me up with
So
eggs.
next thing I was wondering is where the fuck do the eggs come from? Because bunnies don't lay eggs. So just like the rabbits, eggs were long considered an ancient symbol of fertility, rebirth, and new life, all associated with springtime celebrations and of Easter itself. So from a Christian perspective, the Easter egg represents Jesus' resurrection and his emergence from the tomb. And according to History.com, the tradition of decorating eggs for Easter may date back to the 13th century, when eggs were traditionally considered a forbidden food during the Lent season. Hmm.
You know, we were that close. I mean, just think about it. Jesus did not have ovaries, thus did not have eggs. I bet you we were so close to having kiwis represent
His balls.
testicles.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Those weren't forbidden during Lent, though. They were
that's
actually
true. They were.
Okay.
Speaking of the Christian perspective and Easter eggs,
Mhm.
I saw on the internets there's a company that produces like Easter egg, like the plastic Easter eggs, but
Yeah.
they're Jesus's head.
Oh,
Oh,
And
my-
Gary,
oh,
I sent you a
that's-
picture so you can
oh.
put it up on
yeah,
social
that's
media.
right.
Yes.
I'll
It's like
put
you
that out
crack
there.
his head open?
Yes.
Well, yeah,
You know,
I think
now that you say it that
they're,
way,
they're
though, Courtney,
hinged. They're
that's-
hinged,
Yeah.
so like you just pop it
that's-
up. You
Does
don't
it like hinge in his mouth so it looks like he's
No.
opening
It hinges like the top. So like
I'm
the back
looking
is
it
just
up.
brown, and then the front. I can just send it to you.
I mean, that's still really
the back
morbid.
is his hair.
Yeah,
I get what they're trying to do. They're like, let's get rid of the stupid egg symbolism and let's bring it back to the reason of the season.
which the pagans laugh
But-
at and go, "Okay, sir, then leave it as the egg."
But yeah, the
Oh
idea
my.
of cracking open Jesus's head, that's not appealing.
No.
Well, that's why I think they're hinged on the top like that, so it just pops open. It's not like
Yeah, well, all right.
I mean, what do you fill?
$8
Do you
for
fill
12
it-
of 'em.
Do you fill it with something?
like candy, just like the plastic
is
ones that you normally.
Strange to me because
Yeah.
I wouldn't want something in Jesus's head.
Well,
Do you know what I mean? Like you open it and you're like, I remember seeing pictures of that, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, do you fill it with jelly beans? And you're like,
Oh, you know what I just noticed?
what if you filled it with like red and pink Jello so it looked like brains
I was
when
just
you
gonna
opened
say.
it?
I was just gonna say
That
it
was
would
a
be-
big thing.
It'd actually be a cool Jello mold because the inside is like the negative space, so it would just be Jesus' head in
Oh.
Jello.
Oh, that's kind of
Right.
cool.
that I could see.
Damn.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was my fun little history of Easter that I actually didn't know. I mean, it's easy enough for anyone to Google this shit, but hey.
Thank you for sharing.
Well, you're very welcome. So next up, I thought we all could share a little bit of our own personal Easter traditions and Easter stories. So let's start out with some stories. Anybody have any stories of Easter? It sounds like Ryan
I have
does.
a couple
Oh,
silly ones.
dive right in.
This
mister.
one's just a weird thing that happened in Easter and then happened sort of again a few Easters later. But we used to always do Easter at my aunt's house, and it was the 90s, and she had one of those bread makers that everyone's aunt had in the 90s.
Yeah.
And everyone like, oh, the bread, it was so good. And I kind of wish I had one.
Right. No
And everyone's like, well, I
I
probably
have one.
I'm
You
like,
can have it.
I was going to say, that's what everyone says when you say you want one from, I have one. You can have it.
I'd take her
Seriously,
up
you
on
want
it, though.
it?
No, it's wonderful.
Because Courtney's old school and she makes it like,
Yeah.
anyway.
So my cousin was like, I'm going to cut some more bread. And I was probably 12 or 13 at the time. So my cousin would have been like 16. She's like, I'm going to cut more bread. And my aunt's like, well, you be careful with that bread knife. It's the sharpest knife in the house. And then, like, no sooner did she say that than my cousin was like, ow! And she's like, oh, don't even joke about that. She's like, I'm not. And she cut her finger and had to go get stitches.
Oh,
Right?
no.
So, and side note of why this story is funny for later is, like, she made a dessert that night called cherry berry on a cloud, which is like,
Ooh.
it's like a biscuit, but it's a little more puff pastry-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And you put lots of berry, like cherry filling,
Oh, so
mushed
it's
up strawberries.
red.
Right. So we were like, oh, careful with cherry berry on a cloud because Christy's going to bleed. So like 3 years later, I'm like 16 and we're having, I think, Easter dinner at her house again. And this was like
Did you say sexting or texting?
16.
Oh, I thought. Oh
Yeah, she
shit!
was 16.
I thought you said sexting. I'm sorry.
No, he was.
Continue.
It's a
We
story
didn't-
about his family. So
we
if
didn't
he's
have- we
sexting
didn't-
his family,
We didn't have texting back then.
That
it
too.
was pre-cell
That's
phone.
Hey, you could have been on AOL Instant Messenger with your family.
That's true.
But anyway.
So this was like the height of, not the height of, but quite the acne period. Might have been 15, now that I think about it, because I think my face kind of cleared up by 16. But anyway, we're eating cherry berry on a cloud again, and all of a sudden my cousin looks at me and she's like, are you bleeding? It's like I just had like some zit eruption on my face and my chin just started bleeding. So we're like, you can't eat cherry berry on a cloud anymore on Easter. It makes people bleed. It's the tradition in my family.
You should have wiped it on your hand and been like, stigmata.
Oh gosh.
Ew.
Oh, no. No stigmata. Not here.
No.
No. That's a good story. I mean,
I do have
It's a
another,
fun story.
but
oh,
when
sure.
we loop around.
Well, you know what? Next up would be Lisa. Do you have any just fun stories, or do you want to stick to just the traditions?
I just have traditions, really.
Why don't we stick to the stories and we'll come back
So,
to the
yeah,
traditions?
Come loop around back to me.
Sure, will do. Courtney, do you have any fun stories?
Well, one year, my youngest son, Devin, as we all talk about, he was probably 3-4 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and our family was plagued by a terrible stomach virus
Oh.
on Easter.
Oh, that's too bad.
It was just horrendous. Well, I thought I was making it out pretty good. It was the night of Easter. Everybody went to bed, and I'm like, oh no. Is it? Or is it just my head playing games on me? Like, does my stomach hurt or not? So I do what any 90s child would do. I go out into the living room and I turn on Roseanne. Or it could have possibly been Golden Girls. One of those two usually calmed my nerves. But as I'm sitting there watching TV, it like hit. It just like, oh my God, there was no warning whatsoever. And the only thing that I could see, knowing that I could not make it to the bathroom, was my son's Easter egg basket.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I tipped that sucker over, dumped out all the candy, and just proceeded to just retch in his Easter basket.
Well, thank goodness you remembered to dump out the candy.
Yeah.
I'm also glad you were
saved the
retching because
candy.
I, for some reason, was expecting you were going to poop in it. So
No.
it worked out a little better.
Yeah.
In the morning, he's like, "Where's my Easter basket?" I'm like, "Well." And my mom, she was bitter because she's like, that was good money. Did you really have to like throw it away? I'm like,
Aw.
oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
And she was confusing it every year with one that she bought him. And I'm like, Mom, different basket, different vomit. Totally different.
I love that phrase. Different basket, different vomit, Mom. That's awesome.
Right? Uh-huh.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's sad, but
No, there was no part of it that was awesome.
It's awesome
I
that you
think
shared
my son
it.
also threw up on our dog. It was a hot mess.
I think Ryan summed it up better with, it was awesome that you shared it. So thank you.
Oh, okay.
All right, now to me. I don't really have much for stories. Mine are mostly just traditions too. So if we have any more stories,
So this
We
story didn't really happen to me, but a friend of mine was having Easter dinner with her family, and she was putting stuff into the fridge, and her aunt was standing next to her. And my friend noticed that the aunt had a certain aroma,
oh no,
just being a sass,
Like-
right?
Ucha
So-
Panooch?
Yes.
yes.
And to be a
Okay.
sass, my friend said, "Weird, we had ham for lunch and I smell fish." And the aunt, completely clueless, goes, "You can have fish for Easter. You can have ham. You can have turkey. You can have whatever you want." when I think of Easter, I think of my friend's aunt and her stinky cooch.
The perfect trifecta would be her eating the cherry berry cloud and her
Yeah. Yep. Oh. Well, Court, it'd be back to you if you have any more stories.
Well, this may or may not have been, or it had to have been around the same year as the discus tasket I barfed in the basket. I'm not 100% sure. But again, it goes along with Devin. And he says, one day as I'm doing something in the kitchen, I hear him say from the living room, "Mom, can I have a piece of candy from my Easter bunny basket?" I'm like, well, sure. Whatever. So all of a sudden I hear him just, "Bleh!" And I'm like, what is wrong with him? He says, "Mom, this candy tastes terrible." And I'm like, well, what does it look like? He says, "It's pink and it was in this red egg." And all of a sudden it dawns on me, the little shithead ate silly putty.
Oh,
He says, "It's terrible. Do you want it?" I'm like, "No, thank you."
Let's press it against some newspaper and see what happens.
Right.
Right?
You know, I said I don't have a story, but Ryan's story reminded me of a story. So let me share something with you. I remember one year we all, as my family did in our traditions, we boiled eggs together like the night before, or maybe the day, 2 days before. I don't know, but before Easter, we did the boiling eggs. And my sister said something to my dad about like, well, how do you know when they're done? And my dad, thinking it was completely done, he says, "You do this," and he grabs it and he like goes to crack it on top of her head, thinking he's a smartass. Well, someone messed up. And it was not done.
Oh, no.
And it leaked out all over her head. To which my dad was then like, oh, no, we got to do them longer. So then we did them again and we fixed it, but it was funny.
That is funny.
Which sister was it?
It was Jackie. As the fans remember, Jackie was a guest on one of our episodes, so shout out to Jackie. But she also had, good humor about it, so that was good.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm out of stories. Any more stories, or should we just jump into the traditions?
I did ruin one of my children's Easters by accidentally hiding his Easter egg basket in the oven.
Oh, no.
And then accidentally turning it on to make breakfast. And all of his candy was melted.
When I put something in the oven
start
like
a fire, though, right? Sorry.
Well, no, it didn't start a fire. I just melted everything.
Oh, okay.
I do a thing now where, and I can't trust myself, if I put something in the oven at all, I flip the light on.
Oh, that's
a
bad idea.
Smart.
Because I had like there was one Christmas where we had like the bakery box of cookies, and they were in there, and like I turned the oven on and was like, oh my god! And then we had like a pie at some point, and I turned the oven on and was like, ooh, we double baked that pie, and we never told Carl's mom because she was like, oh, this pie seems kind of overdone, and it was like, oh, whoops,
twice baked.
And I once melted a really good Pyrex lid.
Oh,
because I started and like it still works, but the handle part is like all drippy. But
it's got character,
right? So now I'm like, nope. If I put something in the oven for storage, I'm flipping that light because it's usually like if we order pizza, I put all that in the oven so that the cats don't bug it and so it stays a little warmer. But I have to flip that light on because one time I put the pizza in there and then like 4 hours later it was like, oh, I never took the pizza out.
Oh no!
Oh no, that's too bad.
I will say. Side note, Gary Putnam, I learned a thing the other day.
Oh, it's good.
If you're trying to proof your bread, stick it in the oven with the oven light on. That's all you need on, and it keeps it warm.
Oh, okay. That is good advice.
Nobody else cares except for Gary.
No, I care.
No, I like it.
I don't bake or cook, but I find that very interesting.
Do you remember though, Courtney, the time your dad put the apple bars, we put them back into the oven. The oven was off, but we put them back into the oven because there was no counter space. We didn't remember to pull them out until months later. Now you're probably wondering why the hell
part of it is.
Go ahead, Courtney.
My dad has like I wouldn't say what are they called?
Airbnb. Yeah, it was a spare house that he Airbnbs out.
So he rents it out, and one of the
so they don't
guests
use the
were
oven
like,
on a regular.
Right.
We found this in the oven.
Months later.
Yikes.
Yeah.
This might not stay in. That's all right. It's just me telling Gary and Lisa and Courtney. Do you remember Mr. Food?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
love that
So
guy.
on Saturday, I went to Savers because sometimes I like to go to Savers and look at VHS tapes and buy obscure weird things. And like that's where I found the Mary Tyler Moore workout video.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, I think we as a group need to do some of those
Oh,
goofy
yeah.
workout videos
I would love
I
to.
have too. But the Mr. Food Cookbook from like 1990,
Ooh.
maybe even older,
Oh.
but like it has like the
Nice.
TV13 logo, and I was like, oh, I'm buying this. It's $2. So I'm very excited.
Nice.
When I was a
Mr.
kid, I
Food.
didn't
Ooh,
realize
it's
it was
so
like
good.
I didn't realize it was like a syndicated thing. So I thought he like lived here and worked out of the TV13 station.
I thought he did,
I
And,
thought he
like-
did too.
and like it's syndicated elsewhere.
Oh,
I don't know, but that's what I thought. Because Carl said something like, "It's so cool that he was based out of here."
he what? Okay,
don't know.
I gotta look this up now.
I don't know. I just thought he did America's Test Kitchen. Or did they take over after he passed away?
I don't know. I know the bow tie guy is not on America's Test Kitchen. It says like how it was never the same after him, and I'm like, well, no offense, but I like the people that are on there now, so good. Oh, he had Mr. Food's Test Kitchen. It must have been something. They must be separate. Oh, it's so good.
That kind of
Wow.
creeped me out
He's
when he
from
did
New
that.
York.
Oh, so maybe I was wrong.
Yeah,
Mr.
because I
Food.
thought he worked with America's Test Kitchen. Because I'd be like, what do I cook? And my mom would be like, go to Mr. Food's Test Kitchen. You can find easy recipes. And I'm like, that's easy for you to say. You're just talented. And I'm me.
Oh.
I am not domestic in any way.
Now, Ryan might know this,
It is
but
from New
I'm
York.
having just like some vague memory of another chef that was on one of our local stations. And it seemed like he had like a really southern accent or something. And he'd be like, ooh, wee, or something. He made a weird noise.
I don't know that one.
Nobody?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I guess I'll die not knowing.
Well, there is the internet you could turn to.
Well, I don't know how to search. Ooh, wee.
Just enter that.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Like a chef whose catchphrase is, and then whatever you just said.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
Was it 80s or 90s, would you say?
I would say 80s.
Okay. Southern TV chef. Justin Wilson, Cajun meat and potatoes. Did he have like red necktie
I don't.
and like red suspenders?
No.
Was this maybe a fever dream
It
you
could
had
be
when
him.
your Easter flu hit?
Ooh.
Ooh wee!
Says, I guarantee only a few will remember him. That's what this like website is trying to.
I think it is him.
Yay!
You are a
See?
good man.
Internet works.
Hot
Well, here's a video of
damn.
him making red snapper.
I am not going to touch that one. That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't find anything with him that says ooey, like when I try to type it in, but if that's, you should watch some videos and see if that's the guy.
We'll look it up. Maybe we'll do a mini-sode where we just review him.
Oh, it was I guarantee.
Oh,
That's
Oh,
what he
that
always
guy I've
used to
heard.
say.
Yeah,
I've heard of that guy.
Do you know Leatherhead from Ninja Turtles? Because he used to say that a lot, and my mom's boyfriend at the time was like, I can't stand this alligator character. He's so annoying.
Alligator?
I'll guarantee. Well, he was an alligator, and he would fight
Yeah.
turtles.
Yeah.
Shall we get back to traditions?
Well, you know what? Let's do it. So next up, we're going to go over some traditions. And yeah, why not? I'll start off just to set the tone. So what I'm looking for is just like, what did you guys do for Easter morning? My family, it was always like, we would hide the baskets and we had to find our baskets. But for us, it wasn't just like the first basket you found was yours. Like
Mm-hmm.
each one of my siblings, our name was on the basket. And the rule was if you found the other person's basket, you couldn't tell them. Now, did we tell them? No, but did we mock them? Like, I know where your basket is. Yes, we did.
Do the hot and cold thing.
No, we weren't even that nice. It was more
Oh.
just like, hey, I found your basket, idiot. Sucks that you can't.
I feel like that was just you and Jackie doing that.
Maybe. But anyway, so that was that. And we'd find the basket and then, we'd go put that in our rooms or whatever and be excited that we had a boatload of candy. And then it was get ready and go to church. We'd go to church. Easter Mass was usually a pretty bright and sunny, happy Mass. Everybody's excited because Jesus, there's just a lot of joy in the church because being out of the whole Lent. Because Lent is just so sad.
And like winter.
Yeah, and it's very spring. It's wonderful. So I have very fond memories of that. And then usually we'd have family members come over and there'd be, sometimes ham and never any fish. But
It smells like trout. Get out.
exactly. But yeah, mashed potatoes, all the good stuff. So
With melted butter.
Usually with gravy. Then melted butter was more for the.
I know.
I know,
I was
yeah.
excited to talk
But
about melted butter.
that was my tradition. So Ryan, what was it like at your
my house.
Yeah.
Pretty similar, other than not having siblings, so it was just me looking for stuff.
Sure.
I always felt like you felt really smart as a kid because you'd walk out and be like, "Oh, there's an egg. Oh, there's an egg. There's an egg."
So you hid eggs.
Yeah.
See, we didn't do that. Ours was just the basket and that's it. So tell me
So
about
like
your egg hunt.
you'd find your basket while finding the eggs, and you'd also find a
Oh.
few. And like things that stick out in my head is like I remember one year getting like 2 Ninja Turtle books.
Okay.
And my mom had tucked them behind the curtains,
Mm-hmm.
like right at the front door. So it was like, oh, there's books back here. But
Yeah.
you'd like be looking everywhere. And I always like she'd always have like we'd do a dozen.
Yeah.
So when I'd be finding them, because you're supposed to leave them out, and the Easter Bunny would hide them. Was what we.
Oh,
Always said.
I like that.
Okay.
So when you'd find them, you'd put them in the carton so you knew you found them all.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to find an egg 7,
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
years later.
you don't want to do that.
That's a good
Mm-mm.
Bob's Burgers episode.
right? And I have this memory, and I'm not just a memory. Like I remember the toy, but my mom got me like this. I don't remember wanting this or asking for it, but it was like these little. It was like a mermaid and like what is it called when you're like part human, part horse?
Centaur.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like pink and purpley, and they had like real hair.
Mm-hmm.
And they had like little daughters that went with them that
Mhm.
didn't have hair, but I would play with them in the bathtub.
Okay. Yeah.
And like, there's a picture of me like the Easter I got those, like they must have been in my basket, and I look so happy, like this mermaid looks so cool.
I love it.
Aww.
I was trying to look them up because I'm like, I don't remember what they were called. A lot of toys from the 80s, it's like if you don't try to describe it on the internet and you find something like, well, that's close, but that's not it. That wasn't what it was.
Yep.
Right.
Totally get it.
Otherwise, yeah, there was lots of eggs and Easter funness. And I remember going to like an Easter something or other. My aunt volunteered with a lot of stuff through her job with the phone company.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd go to like this big Easter brunch and someone would be dressed up as the Easter Bunny. And I remember going in the room
Mm-hmm.
either before or after, and like the Easter Bunny suit was just laying down, and it scared
Oh,
the
no.
crap out of me.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
because I was like, oh, the Easter Bunny's dead. Like I understood it was a costume, but it just looked
Oh,
so
yeah.
freaking creepy. Just like,
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like a skin
100%.
suit. Yeah.
I think in a way it's like my childhood trauma made me like the opposite of a furry. Like, ooh, that scares me actually.
Yeah. No, I get that. Lisa, anything you want to share about your?
What I remember is that the Easter Bunny would hide my basket and my sister's basket, and we would go around the house. We lived in the country, so there was still a lot of snow,
Mhm.
usually.
Yeah.
And so my parents would, they talk to the Easter Bunny. So they would say, if we were hot or cold.
Ah,
And
okay.
if I found like my sister's basket, I wouldn't tell her.
Sure.
Where it was. I would just be like, I found your basket, much like you would.
Okay,
do.
similar to
Right.
mine.
It's a sibling thing.
Mhm.
And we did dye hard-boiled eggs. We got like the kit
Mhm.
with like the little tablets that you put in water
Yeah.
or vinegar or whatever
Yep.
it is.
Oh, the smell.
The smell.
smell.
Yeah. And we didn't do Easter egg hunts or anything. We did get like small gifts in our basket with the
Mhm.
candy. Like as I got older, it would be like a book that I had wanted or something.
Sure.
Like less candy and a book
Yeah,
or
yep.
something. And then as the day progressed, I'm not sure if family came out. I don't think so because they had their own families. And then my mom and my gram would make ham and all that good stuff.
No fish,
No fish.
just ham.
Just
All right.
ham.
Lovely. That sounds like a great time.
Mm-hmm, it was.
Court, I would love to hear what you did.
Wow. I think everything was pretty similar, but now that you think about it, like when we were young in the 80s,
Mhm.
did we have the plastic eggs or no?
They had to have existed. I don't remember. I don't know. They had to have existed, right?
I would get up in
remember
the morning.
them, but I don't know at what age I got them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would get up in the morning, and my dad was always really active with our church. So we would have our sunrise service, and then he would have to do this big breakfast for the whole church. And as all the other kids are like, oh, this is what I got in my basket, this motherfucker never got to see her basket until after church.
Oh.
So I had to wait all day.
Oh no.
But then when I'd get home, it would start outside because we always hid our Easter eggs outside.
Oh
I don't know
sure.
about anybody else.
No, were they actual eggs?
They were actual eggs.
See, that makes perfect sense. If
Yeah.
you forget one, it's not stinking up your house.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
But rain or shine, those mother truckers would be outside.
Okay.
And the one thing that I hated so much about Easter was having to wear pantyhose.
Oh, yeah.
Because you'd have to, your parents would buy you like a fancy Easter dress, and then, god dang it, you'd have to wear tights or whatever, and
Yeah.
it was what I hated.
I mean, I didn't, but I hear you.
Well, but the other thing that I also hated about Easter was the frickin' jelly beans. My mom would just load my Easter basket with loosey-goosey jelly beans,
Oh, yeah.
and
No,
they
no,
were
no.
terrible.
Mhm.
Kids nowadays should be so lucky to have the Starburst jelly beans, not those big, fat, like swollen wood ticky, gross.
That like each one
You
was
know what I
different. If you
mean?
got like a black jelly bean or
Once-
the
once you-
purple.
Actually, I
Once
like
you said
the
wood
black
tick,
ones.
The purple ones I think were the worst though, because like the black ones just taste like licorice, which if you either you like or you don't. But like the purple
Yeah.
ones,
Oh,
I feel like
yeah.
are just like.
Well,
I like the
I
we're
was
white.
gonna
like, the
dive
pink
into
were the worst. They were just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah,
They
I
taste
actually
like
literally
pneumonia.
growing up I always said I didn't like jelly beans, and then one day I had the Starburst jelly beans, and
Yeah,
Well,
Changed
those
everything.
those
Oh, yes.
did revolutionize the jelly bean.
Yes, they did.
absolutely.
The first time I ever had Starburst jelly beans
Mhm.
was also the first time I watched Halloween 2 and Halloween 3.
Mhm.
I remember that being the same day
Yeah.
because I couldn't rent Halloween 1 because it was
Wow.
checked out, so I
Now-
had to get 2 and 3 instead.
Courtney, one thing I got to ask you, because my mom, when it came to Easter, was like super into the tradition. And I know your mom was Catholic. My mom would even go to like the Thursday and Good Friday masses. Did your mom go to those?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so.
Because oh, geez, yes. Because, well, my mom was in the bell choir, too.
Yep.
So
Okay.
she had to make the
Because
circuit.
I remember as a kid sitting through those, and they were long. Those were long masses. But anyway, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Just a little update. I found the dolls. They were called Shimmers from
Ooh.
1986 from Kenner.
Oh.
And they were also, I don't know if it was a subline or what, but they were also called Seawees, the mermaids.
Oh, that sounds so familiar. Yeah.
And I keep finding ones that look like the ones I had, but are different colors. Like,
Yeah.
no, mine definitely had blue hair. This one does not, but it like looks the same mold. But anyway,
Do you still have them somewhere?
possibly
Mm.
there's got to be a box somewhere of just random stuff that because most of my toys are organized quite well, but some older stuff is just thrown in.
All right. Are we ready to go on, guys?
I want to
Oh,
say,
no. Yeah. If
when
you got more, please.
I noticed on your thing you had a thing like certain ways to dress,
Oh, yeah.
and this isn't about dressing for Easter,
Which
but,
Courtney brought up with her pantyhose.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
but
Yes.
there is a nightgown that Blanche Devereaux wears in a few episodes that I call her Easter nightgown because it's like all pastel
Mm.
and like very
Mhm,
drapey. I mean, all her
mhm,
stuff is very drapey, but it's like, oh, I love that. So I sent Gary a picture of that too, so the audience can see. Because I always
we'll
think
have
of
to
it.
include that.
I think of that as the Easter outfit.
Yeah,
of Blanche
yeah.
Devereaux.
Absolutely. No, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, for me, there wasn't any like special dress. I mean, when you go to church, we wore church clothes, but past that, it is whatever it was, you know.
I didn't have to go to church.
Yeah.
Luckily, as far as I remember, I didn't have to do a dress or anything because that's not. I think I probably would have
No.
struggled the whole time.
No, Lisa wouldn't want to be in a dress.
No. And if you could see me right now, I am in a flannel shirt, t-shirt, and sweatpants. So yeah, no,
Yeah,
dresses aren't really my thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, any more, guys? If you got more, I love it. But okay. Cool. Next
So,
up.
well, I do have one question.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, back, like I said, in the 80s, we were dyeing Easter eggs, hiding the Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we do them now if we're using the plastic egg?
Well, I think the beauty of the plastic eggs is if you forget it or lose it, it doesn't stink your house up.
I
Mhm.
think.
Then
I
why
mean,
are we dyeing the eggs at all?
I think there were a lot of people who did both, and there are people who
Yeah.
prefer one or the
Yeah.
other. Because I know we
So-
did both a lot of times. And
Yeah.
it'd be like if you bought a pre-made Easter basket, it would always have the plastic ones in it. But if
Mhm.
you did your own,
Uh-huh.
because I never looked for the plastic ones. You know what I mean?
Mm.
If you went
Yeah.
to an Easter egg hunt, like at some sort of festival or whatever, that was usually where the plastic ones were.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they wouldn't
Yeah.
give kids eggs necessarily. They had like the
We had
plastic
the
ones.
plastic ones in our baskets, and they had candy in them.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
we just dyed.
I think we did too.
We just dyed the eggs as like a family thing to do for Easter,
Right.
and then we ate them.
Very similar with my
Which,
family. That's what we did.
Ironically, we take Jesus' day and we literally take those eggs and make them into deviled eggs. How ironic.
Delicious. Do you know why they're
They
called
are
deviled
delicious.
eggs?
I would
Because
like to
they're
know
a
why.
hell of a lot of work.
Mm.
That's from an episode of Facts of Life. Thank you.
No, I was the same way where we did baskets. We didn't hide eggs, but we colored them every year. And then like the breakfast before we went to church was always eggs. And well, we would eat like a hard-boiled egg or two, and then we'd have breakfast after.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just basically dyeing eggs was a family thing
Oh,
to
yeah.
do together.
Yep, yep. All right. So we're going to start off again, or welcome back, or either way, whatever. We're going to throw out something a little crazy here in honor of our Easter episode. We wanted to go up with, what were your favorite, besides Jesus, favorite resurrections? We thought that would be a good topic. So you could talk about any character or thing from a movie, but we actually came up with a ton
lot.
of them.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, would you like to start off?
Well, do you want me to just list them or talk about
Why don't
some,
you
and
just go through them? And
Well, I know Lisa has a ton, and I have a ton, and I know we have some crossover.
Yep.
But I will just...
well, let's do this. You start going through it, and if we know we have a crossover, we'll say that one, and then we'll save our others for later too.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I can be like, I had that one too.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. So this is just a list I Googled, but there are certain ones on it that I, of course, knew going in that I wrote down first. But
Okay.
Jon Snow from
Game
of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
I never watched
had
it,
that
so-
one too. I watched that one.
I did watch Game of Thrones. I forgot about that.
See, that's the
one,
thing.
though.
Like some of them, I know. I would have known that already because I remember that being a big thing. But
Mhm.
like, I never watched it, so I don't know the
Actually,
context.
in that show, there was a shit ton of resurrections.
I believe it.
But anyway,
Gandalf, which we all know because we all had to read those
I
books.
had that one.
I never read those.
no.
I never really did either, but I watched them all in one sitting once, and I wanted to die. But I do remember that.
Yeah.
It's just I love a long movie, but when you have 3 in a row,
Yeah,
you
those
might
are
as well.
long.
And they were the extended cuts too, so it was like,
Yep.
And it was really 2 nights. It was watch the first one and then the second 2, and it was like, nope, never again. Sherlock Holmes. A lot of people don't know this, but at some point, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was like, man, am I tired of writing these? So I think he falls off a cliff. He and Moriarty fall to their death,
Mhm.
and that's the end. And then a few years later, they're like, we want you to write more Sherlock Holmes. And so then it's like, oh, he didn't really die.
Ah.
I had that one, but I had the Benedict Cumberbatch TV
Cumberbatch.
version.
How does he die in that one?
It looks like he falls to his death, like he commits suicide
Okay.
with Moriarty. Like he grabs Moriarty
Yep.
and they fall
Okay.
off a building.
So it was
similar.
true to the source material.
Mhm.
I took a class of Sherlock Holmes, and we had to buy these 2 books.
Mm.
And they were like, it's all the Sherlock Holmes stories ever. So it makes me happy to know that I have them all. I don't have to go out and try to find them.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was one of those, they're both hardcover, and they're awesome because like the pages are like cut in a way that they look like an old book where the pages are
Oh, sure.
misshapen a little bit.
Yeah.
So it looks like a really old book.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm sure I don't even have to guess that Lisa had this one, but the Winchester brothers.
I have Sam and Dean Winchester. Those were my
My
first
man.
2.
Xena, warrior princess.
Oh, I didn't even know.
I tried to look up, and I think she died at least 5 times.
Whoa.
However, I do remember, spoiler alert, the final episode, she could get brought back, but but to save the souls of these 40,000, she stays dead, and that was how the series ended. So she was like a ghost. I don't remember exactly, because I remember watching the finale, even though I didn't really watch the
never
whole
watched
series.
the end part, I guess.
Are you sure she's not a Winchester?
Right? That's actually a show that I've always been like, I should buy that complete series. Why don't I have that?
Yeah,
Because
okay.
I like warrior women. I like Xena. I like Lucy Lawless because
She's amazing.
She'll talk smack against some
Yes, she
horrible
will.
former
Yeah, she will.
co-stars.
Oh, okay.
Jean Grey,
Oh, yes.
the original, the Phoenix.
Nice. Yep.
Her
100%.
resurrection's interesting because it almost isn't. I mean, the subsequent ones have been, but the original Jean Grey back from the dead it was one of those things where it's like, actually, she didn't die.
Right.
She got put in a stasis thing in a cocoon at the bottom of the New York harbor. Years later, the Fantastic Four find her, and she's back because they didn't want Jean Grey to be alive after having done the horrible things that Dark Phoenix did.
Right. Yep. That makes sense. But yeah, I would totally put that on my list too. Mm-hmm.
Spock from Star Trek.
Yeah.
He dies at the end of...
Mhm.
Is it 2 or 3 that he dies?
Wrath of Khan, right?
Right.
Yeah, he dies
That's-
at the end of Wrath of Khan.
I don't know which number that is.
Right. And then he comes back and then...
Well, either way, we know the name, so we
It's-
win.
Yeah. How do I know that name? I've never watched the movie.
Really?
Really?
Ooh.
And then Superman.
I have
Yes.
that one.
Similar to I always want to say Dr. Spock about Star Trek, but Dr. Spock was a real person.
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying Superman isn't real?
Well, no, but Spock and
Yeah,
Dr.
I'm kidding.
Spock are
Yeah, I know.
different. Yeah, so Superman fought Doomsday,
Yep.
and it was a big deal. And little third grade me definitely thought, oh my God, they killed Superman, and we're not going to have Superman ever again anymore. And I cried. But I still bought the comic books, and I still loved it. And when he came back, people were like, I knew they weren't going to leave him dead forever. No, you weren't, because people were protesting outside the DC Comics offices.
Mhm.
But they never planned for him to stay dead. It was they were going to have him get married to Lois Lane, but then Lois and Clark was getting made, the TV series, and the producers of that show were like, could you not have them get married before we do? Because it'll
yeah.
So they were like,
Yeah.
well, we have a whole year continuity plan, and I guess we'll just toss it out. What should we do? And one of the writers would always say every year, let's just kill him. So this time he said it, and they're like, actually, that would give us a good year-long story and whatever. So it was always the plan that he would come back. But
Mhm.
because when they killed him, it became such a big mainstream news
Mhm.
story.
Yep.
That, of course, they had to oh, nope, he's dead for real. Because they couldn't be like, no, he'll be back.
Right.
And this was back when comic book deaths actually mattered because characters did stay dead.
Right.
Now it's usually we'll be back in a year or two. Another good one I have, the ultimate Dr. Kimberly Shaw from Melrose Place. Her death was also one of those interesting ones because she died off camera. So it wasn't like a soap opera where you see the person die and then you're like, how are you back? She got injured in a car accident. She was in a coma. Her mom came to take her back to Cleveland. And then we received word through a different character through dialogue. Oh, Kimberly died. So then you think she's dead. She's off the show. And then there's this big reveal months later where it's outside the house and the camera pans around and there's Kimberly just watching. And you're like, oh, she's alive. And she's back for vengeance. And it was really cool.
Ooh.
Because who doesn't love a
Nice.
soap opera resurrection?
No, I love it.
Right?
Speaking of soap opera resurrections, the one everyone thinks of, Mr. Bobby James Ewing on Dallas.
I have that one.
Once again, kind of a non-resurrection.
Sure.
Bobby Ewing dies when Patrick Duffy wants to leave the show at the end of season 9. He gets hit by a car,
Mhm.
saving Pam. Then an entire season takes place and a lot of stuff happens. New characters show up. One character gets pregnant and loses the baby and they adopt a kid and this and that. Then Patrick Duffy wants to come back and they want him back because the ratings have gone down. Well, how do we bring him back? Well, we can't have him be a twin. We can't do this. So it was all a dream. And how they did that was Victoria Principal filmed a scene where she opened the shower door and her current husband in the storyline he had a disease, but he was getting better. He's passed out in the shower. They take the footage of her opening the shower door with Patrick Duffy, who, to keep it secret, filmed an actual soap commercial all day long with various takes and all this stuff so that he could just turn around in the shower and go, good morning. And then that would be the end for the season. So all summer people were like, how is Bobby in the shower? Well, surprise, it was all a dream. And the sad part was all the continuity that had happened that season was gone. So you had to when I watch it, I always have to rewatch the season finale prior so I can remember where all the characters were at in their lives. Because certain characters who had left could be back. Certain characters that were dead and then were like, I'm not really dead. I was faking my death. Oh, they're dead again. It was, I think I maintain to this day that if that happened today, they wouldn't have done a dream. They would have just said, oh no, Bobby was alive the whole time. Pam dreamt that he was dead. And so we remember it the way she dreamt it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then you
Yeah.
could have kept all that stuff in there and just be like, oh no, Bobby was there. It's just we kind of remember it through Pam's dream of him being dead.
Okay.
Because there's things in the dream season that's how could Pam have dreamt that? She didn't know what was going on with this. But you just take it. It's TV.
Yep.
And last, but certainly not least, my favorite, Buffy Summers.
Yeah.
The Vampire
I have
Slayer.
that one.
Of course you do. She died twice.
Yeah.
Which is nothing compared to the Winchesters, I know. But she does sing in the musical episode about having died twice.
Mm-hmm. I do remember that too.
Once by drowning. So, she was only, clinically dead for a minute, but it still counts.
Mm-hmm.
And then a mystical death from which she is resurrected through a spell. And we even get to watch her rotten body regenerate.
Yeah,
It's really
that's
cool.
a real resurrection right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I loves it.
yeah. No, it's good stuff. I too had that on, but I knew you were going to bring it up. But
It's because you know me so well.
Lisa, what do you got for us?
Okay, ready for the monster list because I had too much time on my hands.
Let's hear it.
All right, spoiler alerts ahoy. All right, first up from Supernatural, we have John Winchester,
Mm-hmm.
Papa Winchester,
Daddy.
Mary Winchester.
Ooh, hold up. Courtney is getting resurrected.
She's just getting regular erected over there.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mary Winchester, the mom.
Okay.
Samuel Campbell, which is Mary's father, so Grandpa. I have Michael Myers from Halloween
Ooh, good one.
because he just doesn't die.
Yeah, yeah.
I have Selena Kyle from Batman Returns.
Heck yeah.
Eric Draven from The Crow.
Ooh.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Is that new? Is the second movie out yet or no?
No, it will be coming out.
Okay.
Are we going to go to it together?
I would like to.
Let's do it.
I know he's no Brandon Lee.
Yeah.
But I never expected it to be. Fox Mulder from The X-Files.
Oh.
He was abducted by aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And when he comes back, when he's like returned or whatever, he's dead or whatever. And I think he's dead. And then Scully finds like an antivirus medicine or whatever to give him to kill the alien virus in him. And it like brings him back to life.
Oh, I missed that. Oh. I dabbled in X-Files. I wasn't like a huge X-Files fan.
Michael Schofield from Prison Break.
Mm.
They electrocuted him. He survived a brain tumor.
Mm.
So yeah, Agent Phil Coulson from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I remember that one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This is a TV show based on books, a trilogy. Alice Quinn from The Magicians.
Okay.
That was a really good, yeah. Poppins, Mac's childhood dog from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Ah.
That dog just will not die. All right, Darth Sidious / Emperor Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Everyone from The Snap in Avengers Infinity War and Endgame.
Good call.
True,
Never
true.
really thought of it that way, but you're right.
Officer Alex Murphy in RoboCop.
Mm.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Mr. Gold, also known as Rumpelstiltskin in the TV show Once Upon a Time.
Ooh.
Okay.
Neo and Trinity in the Matrix movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rey in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker.
Nice.
And that's all I got, people.
It's a great list.
Thank you.
So I took, or actually, we should go to Courtney next. Courtney, did you have any? I kind of sprung this on you. I don't think, did we tell you about the resurrection thing?
You know, yeah, you did.
Okay.
You did.
Okay.
I can only think of two,
Mhm.
and you're going to laugh at how stupid they are.
No?
Oh, I'm not even going to say the one, but the one that I think is nearest and dearest to my heart is Dan Connor.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I almost wrote that on
That's
my
a
list
good
too.
one.
I
That's a good one.
I didn't write it, but like I thought about that when I was thinking of my list this morning, and I was like, oh, Dan Connor.
Yeah. No. That's a really good one.
That
Hey,
is a good one.
And I don't care if we cut it, Courtney. Can I hear the?
Yeah, what's the other one?
Penny from South Park.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
That
Good.
counts.
That's
Count
good.
it.
That's awesome.
That is, yes.
I like the way they did Dan too, because for those who don't know, the last season of Roseanne is revealed that she's been writing a book the whole time, and that in the season 8 finale, when Dan had his heart attack, he actually passed away, and he's been dead this whole last season, and so yada yada yada. When they did the reboot, or I prefer to call it a revival,
Mm-hmm.
Dan's there obviously, and the first thing she says is like, Dan, and he's like, what? And they're in bed. She goes, I thought you were dead. And it's like, that's silly. But then later when they talk, she's like, oh, here's the manuscript of that book I wrote. And he goes, oh, you killed the best character. So then it's like another layer of like, no, the show did happen
Yeah.
how we remember it. And she wrote a book pretending that it was a book, like
Nice.
it kind of
Mhm.
undoes what that, because
Yeah.
the series finale changed a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, that works for the actual final because you're like, well, it's done. But if you're going to go back and do more, you'd be like, well,
Yeah.
undo that because you kind of screwed the continuity.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I always think it's funny. And he goes, he was a gentle giant.
He was.
Plus, you always need John Goodman.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so what I took it more from, I wasn't thinking of specific characters, and that's just because I was thinking of it differently. So I had a couple movies that I had. So number one that I had was the movie My Boyfriend's Back. It was a 1993 American zombie horror comedy film.
It's a very good movie.
It's a very good movie, but that just that just stood out in my head because, I don't know, it stuck with me from when I was a kid.
It started out as a movie. It was going to be a little more serious, and it was supposed to be like a metaphor for the AIDS epidemic.
Oh.
But then it got
Oh.
changed as it was being made into more of a comedy about that, so.
Next up, I've got the movie Warm Bodies.
That is one of my favorites.
Yeah, 2013 American paranormal romantic zombie comedy. I felt it was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
It was not what I expected when I watched it, and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's more zombies than we can even mention that get resurrected. So, I just have to name the whole damn movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Next up, another zombie movie. I've got Shaun of the Dead.
Yes.
2004 British comedy with Simon Pegg, who I love.
Oh, yes.
Freaking love him. So, love that movie. Again, tons of zombies, lots of good resurrection. And yeah, that's it that I had for the movies. On a different note, I guess we'll say real life resurrection. I don't know how real, but Rasputin.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I was jamming to that song from the 70s in my shower the other day.
Yeah. But
I love that song.
cheers to that guy for just keep showing up. That's a good time.
So today I was talking with a coworker, which I know I'm probably giving away information that I shouldn't be before things happen. But I was telling a coworker that we were going to be meeting tonight to talk about the resurrection. And she says, oh my gosh, she says, my dad was the perfect example of that. I'm like, what are you talking about? So she shared this story. So I'm not going to mention names, but it's a funny story. Her dad was in the hospital. I don't think she said why, but he was going to be discharged on Good Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And just as they were getting his things packed and everything, he had lunch before he left, and he ended up choking and dying on Good Friday.
Oh.
He was put on life support, came off life support on Easter.
That's amazing.
Oh,
my
wow.
gosh.
Uh-huh.
So do they
she's
joke about him being the
literally.
second coming?
Right? And she laughed about it. She says, we just can't get over just the, coincidences of it all.
Interesting.
But he lived, by
Good.
the way.
Good for him. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it's got a happy ending. I like it.
Right? Uh-huh.
And we're back. So I would like to share with you all the next pet of the week.
Ooh.
We have
Oh.
Bindi from Chautauqua, Wisconsin.
Nice.
So look for that post and say hi to Bindi.
Yay!
All right.
Hey, Bindi.
Whoa.
Next up, we've got our biscuit basket. So let's kick this off. Ryan, could I have a buttered or burnt biscuit from you?
It's kind of a buttered biscuit. So every year around Easter, I like to make a post on my socials about the music video from one of the best music groups ever to exist, Army of Lovers.
Mm.
They have a song called Lit de Parade, which is French.
Yeah.
It's a great music video. It talks about resurrections. It's very Easter-ish,
Ah,
even though it's not
yes.
designed as an Easter thing. But
Yeah.
I like to. So I'm going to give a shout out. You should all Google that. It's lit, like L-I-T, and day, like D-E, and parade, like parade. It's French.
Yeah.
The words are in English, but
Hmm.
the title
Well,
of the
it's a
song is in
combination.
French.
There's some French in there, too.
Right, yes. Jean-Pierre does sing his French
hmm
section.
Beautiful song. I'm a huge fan of Army of
Well, and
Lovers.
the music video, they did two versions. There was the radio version and the music video version. I prefer the music video version, but
Mhm.
in the fan groups, it's often the other way around. I'm always like, music video version, it's better.
Sure. No, I like that. Thank you.
So y'all should look that up and watch the music video.
Yeah, I second that. You totally should. And next up, we would have Lisa. Lisa, could I get...
I have a buttered biscuit. I had the distinct honor and privilege of going from producer Lisa, Gary Tamer, to guest
Yeah, that's true.
on this special episode.
Although, and you guys don't see this, but we made her wear the Gary Tamer outfit, though. So she's still got the whip
Mhm.
and everything
I'm so
else.
glad we let her talk now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So nice.
It's almost like she was
Yeah.
born to do this.
Who knew?
Yeah. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome is the official Wicker Biscuit
Uh-huh.
welcome.
Yeah. It's strange, but I like it.
It's a good time.
I like it too.
Oh, this is a good fit.
Mm.
Next up would be Courtney.
You know what else is a good fit?
Oh, yeah. What?
The Gary Tamer outfit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's dazzling, quite frankly.
And, just like your wife, Amanda, I do believe when I first met her, I said, oh, Gary, I'm so glad that you picked her for me. I'm
Yep.
going to say the same about Lisa.
Yep.
She's very natural. Like, you just love her. You
Mhm.
just feel at home around her. I
Yeah,
love her.
I've been feeling that way for over 20 years.
Thank you. The
So
feeling
thank you
is
for picking her
mutual.
for me.
The feeling is
Aw.
mutual, Courtney. Actually, he
Aw.
accidentally calls me Courtney sometimes.
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I always mix up names. I'm getting to be an old fuddy-duddy, and everything gets jumbled up in my head.
Says the
We still
youngest
love
guy
you,
in
Ryan.
the room.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we're all old farts. Anyway, Courtney, how about your biscuit?
Well, tomorrow's a bad day. It's a burnt biscuit.
Oh, no.
Twice a year I have to do this, and it is, as far as Courtney Hollop history, it's the worst. I have to go to the dentist.
Oh, no.
It's just a cleaning, but I hate it so much. I turn into the world's biggest wimp, and I have a reputation at my dentist.
Oh.
I think they have my chart, like, flagged and highlighted, and I don't know what else, because I have called 2 of the nice ladies bitches.
Is
they
this like
were-
under an
they were-
anesthetic or coming out of like not an anesthetic,
No, this was just me. Just real as real could be.
just called them bitches.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I have a really bad gag reflex. The
Sure.
last time that they tried to like do those, where they put that thing in your mouth to take x-rays.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Well, they have, supposedly it's supposed to be easier and better, but it's like hooked to a cord that goes like right to their computer.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the lady tried to shove it in my mouth and run for it to like push the little button on the outside of the, you know how it works.
Yeah. Yep.
And
yep.
I ripped that fucker right out of my mouth and I shook it in front of her by the cord and I said, no, I do not do well. When I had to have my wisdom teeth taken out,
Mm-hmm.
I literally, and I am not exaggerating, I attacked my dentist. I grabbed him by the arm, yelled at him and said, F me, hole. And
Yep.
I fuck mouth and I and he says, hey now. Because he poked me in my sore hole. And now what they do, apparently it's a thing, they sprinkle salt on my tongue and they think that makes me feel better. I don't know if it does or not. But
well, who else would know but you?
I don't. They said they learned it at a conference. I don't believe it.
Yeah, but what's your feedback? Does it work? I mean, you'd know. It's you.
I think it's just a distraction.
Mhm. I'm with you.
They said
Okay.
it's supposed to help with like the gagging because I've bit them before too. I've like slammed my mouth down on their fingers, and it's just not a good situation.
When you're getting your x-rays, think of it this way. If something happens to you, they'll be able to identify you by your dental x-rays, and that's why it's
Right.
good to have them.
Yep.
That's what I think of.
The only one that needs to be able to identify a body is my dentist, because I'm gonna kill him one of these times. But I literally did. I like jumped out of my chair and I grabbed him by the arms and just screamed at him.
Are you trying to get
am
arrested
not
at your
good.
dentist? Are you trying to make a police blotter episode?
I think so.
No, we're going to be doing another one. So
bad.
look for that, everyone.
Yeah, so we'll look for you, Courtney.
And I even cried during the whole thing. Like my eyes just water right up, and I'm done.
Are you able to
No.
get gas?
They've never offered it to me, and I don't know if
Really?
I want it.
You don't think this, the sedation, if she's already that aggressive, it could get really worse. But I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe if they just conk you out, it would be better.
Maybe.
I don't know.
If your
but-
insurance pays for it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I complained to him about this lady that it kept insisting on trying to get my x-rays done. I didn't realize that the lady that I was referring to as the bitch was his wife.
Oh, no.
Oh.
It is bad. I am totally turned into a different person. It is
You might have to
bad.
find a different dentist.
Well, I think she'll
And
just
nobody
screw
will
up that
take me, I'm
relationship
pretty
too.
sure.
She's blacklisted.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Like, no joke. I almost think he, like, had happy tears when I came back and had 2 less teeth from having my wisdom teeth taken out.
Oh, man.
It was good.
Okay.
Oh,
We believe
I'm so
in you.
nervous.
Oh, well, jeez.
We believe in you.
Lisa believes in you.
I believe in you.
She's saying I do too. So I'm going to go with it. I believe in you.
We all believe in you.
Well,
Okay, thank you.
If anything, I at least wish you the best. Truly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh.
Well, in lieu of a biscuit, I'm just going to say, well, no, this is a biscuit. So I'm going to say my buttered biscuit is just all the accomplishments that we've been making here at Wicker Biscuit and Podcast Ahoy in general. And one thing I want to do is just remind everyone, go out, take a look at our new website. So the Podcast Ahoy website is podcastahoy.com, and the Wicker Biscuit part of that is podcastahoy.com/wicker-biscuit. So instead of a space, there's just a little dash, wicker-biscuit. And then there you've got access to all of our socials, all the social medias.
Our social security numbers?
All of our social security numbers are out there. Courtney's dental records, ironically, are out there.
Yeah. Video of her at her dental appointments,
Yep.
harassing
It's all
people,
there. It's all
attacking people.
Okay. No, it's not. No, but we at least it's the one-stop shop to find where to stream us, where to follow us on social media. My best thing is if you're trying to explain to somebody, Wicker Biscuit and where they can listen to. If you're trying to tell a friend how to get into Wicker Biscuit, send them there because it has all of our links. It's got our Spotify link. It's got our Amazon link. It's got our Apple Podcast link. It's got our TikTok link. It's got our Facebook link. It's got everything. And also it's got the information to how to submit all of the stuff we're looking for. And as always, we're looking for feedback from listeners. We want to know episode topics that you want to hear. We want to know. We're always looking for listener-submitted biscuits, and as always, we've got the Pet of the Week, which has gotten some phenomenal feedback. We're getting tons of feedback from Pet of the Week, so I'm really glad we started that. I want to keep that going strong, and please, everyone, submit those cute puppies. We have yet to receive any sweater puppies, so I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But
Did you say sweater
Gary,
puppies?
yeah,
Gary, I love when you're
Like
a whore.
tatas?
I
yes.
love Courtney for stepping on the joke.
Yeah, in the very, very first time we announced that we were going to do it, one of the guests even said, well, we'd even take your sweater puppies if you'd offer. And we've yet to be picked up on that offer, but that's okay.
We have not been blessed yet. With
No,
any sweater
no.
of puppies.
But yeah, so that's what I just want to close out with. I'm very buttered with how that's been going, and please check it out and keep in contact because this only works if we get you guys involved. Otherwise, it's just us talking into a microphone for nothing.
Which we'll still do, but
Yeah.
we like it better when you're involved.
All right. So on that note, I think we should close this out. What do you guys think?
Sounds like a great idea,
All
sir.
right. So as always, we'd like to say goodbye and thank you all for listening to our Easter episode. Can I have you guys all say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right. Thank you and good night, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Wicker Biscuit, a Podcast Ahoy production. The producers of Wicker Biscuit are Courtney Holub, Ryan LeMay, and Gary Putnam. Assistant producers are Amanda Putnam and Lisa Rudd. Recording and editing is done by Gary Putnam with Lisa Rudd as the assistant editor. Executive producer of Wicker Biscuit is Gary Putnam. Check out our social media for updates on upcoming pods and for clips and other media referenced in this episode. Links and information can be found in the episode notes. Thanks again from everyone at the Wicker Biscuit family.